Kevin, Stuart, and Bob, our three favorite minions, had just boarded the plane for a sunny vacation. Tucked inside Kevin's oversized backpack wasn't just a banana and a fart gun, but a fluffy ginger cat named Mittens. Bellow, whispered Bob, patting the backpack. She! Bob! Kevin gestured, putting a finger to his lips. They shuffled down the aisle, trying to look as innocent as possible, which for minions isn't very innocent at all. They found their seats, squishing into the row. Kevin carefully placed the backpack under the seat in front of him. A little meow escaped. Poopé, Stuart asked, his single eye wide with worry. Kevin just shook his head frantically. Just then, a cheerful flight attendant walked by. Welcome aboard, gentlemen. Can I get you anything? The minions froze. Bob, in a panic, blurted out, Meow. The flight attendant chuckled. A banana? Of course. Coming right up. She smiled and continued down the aisle. They had survived their first close call. Kevin wiped a bead of sweat from his brow. This was going to be a long flight. As the plane started to taxi, Mittens decided she'd had enough of the backpack. A little paw snaked out, then a head with two pointy ears. Gah! Stuart yelped, trying to gently shove the cat back in. But Mittens was stubborn. She wriggled free, and, with a flick of her tail, leaped onto the empty seat next to them. The minions stared in horror. At that exact moment, the seatbelt sign dinged. The same flight attendant was walking back towards them. Panic set in. Thinking fast, Kevin grabbed the in-flight magazine and held it up, trying to block her view of Mittens. Stuart grabbed a pillow and plunked it on the cat's head. Bob just covered his eyes. Here's that banana for you, the flight attendant said, leaning over. Her eyes flickered towards the seat. Oh, is that a pillow? Kevin nodded vigorously. Pillow! See! Pillow! Stuart added, giving a shaky thumbs up. Mittens. Under the pillow. The flight attendant raised an eyebrow. Is your pillow purring? Before they could answer, the captain's voice came over the intercom, announcing takeoff. The distraction worked. The flight attendant smiled. Well, enjoy your purring pillow, and returned to her seat. The minions collapsed in relief. They had to be smarter. Phase 2 of Operation Hide Mittens was underway. The drinks cart was coming! Kevin had an idea. He pulled out a tiny yellow hat and a pair of goggles from his overalls and placed them on Mittens. Ta-da, he whispered. Stuart facepalmed. Bob clapped, thinking Mittens looked like a tiny, furry pilot. When the flight attendant arrived, she peered down. And what would you three like to drink? She asked, her gaze fixed on the cat. Kevin, holding his breath, pointed at Mittens and said, Bapple juice, ... for a baby. Stuart nodded, adding, baby. Guguji, eji, eh. He even tried to give Mittens a bottle, which she promptly batted away. The flight attendant knelt down for a closer look. That's a very hairy baby, she said slowly. Mittens, tired of the hat, shook her head, sending the goggles flying. They landed perfectly on Bob's face. The jig was up. The flight attendant stared at Mittens, then at the three terrified minions. A long, tense silence hung in the air. The minions braced for the worst. Were they going to be thrown off the plane? Would Mittens be put in the cargo hold? Then, the flight attendant's face broke into a huge grin. Well, hello there, little co-pilot. I thought I saw a carrier at the gate. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small bag of cat treats. I have a fluffy friend at home, too. The minions blinked in disbelief. Kevin, Stuart, and Bob looked at each other. Then back at the flight attendant, who was now giving Mittens a gentle scratch behind the ears. Mittens purred loudly, this time for everyone to hear. Who was now giving Mittens a gentle scratch behind the ears. Mittens purred loudly, this time for everyone to hear. But, Poopé! Bob asked timidly, The flight attendant laughed. Pets are allowed, you silly bananas. You just have to tell us first. We have special seats for our furry passengers. She winked. But since she's been so well behaved, she can be our little secret for the rest of the flight. The minions erupted in a quiet cheer. Kevin gave the flight attendant a grateful salute. Stewart offered her his banana, and Bob gave her his biggest, most heartfelt thank you. For the rest of the flight, Mittens was treated like royalty. She got her own little bowl of water and even got to peek into the cockpit with the captain's permission. The minions could finally relax, knowing their friend was safe and sound. As the plane landed, the flight attendant came by one last time. You three take good care of your little friend, she said, handing Bob another cat treat for Mittens. The minions waved goodbye, their hearts full. They had managed to get their best friend on the plane and even made a new friend in the process. It was a chaotic, crazy, and completely minion-tastic adventure. And as they walked off the plane into the sunshine, they knew their vacation had already started off perfectly. Thanks for watching our silly story. If you love the Minions and their crazy adventures as much as we do, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fun. See you next time. Poopy!